MoveMax, you are the Albany, New York of potential CrossFit buyers.
I just died on your arms tonight.
The long suspected buyer of CrossFit had a podcast released in the last 24 hours. On the Instagram post advertising that podcast, before you talk about successfully securing box owners, he should secure the jobs of his employees after closing Wadabox, he meant Wadabox, in France and firing 75% of his team from our home. The adage says it's true, consultants are not paid. That comment deleted. What happened with Wadabox? That comment deleted. He left Wadabox abandoned. No longer paid rent, no longer paid suppliers, until it was forced to close and go into judicial settlement. The few people who stayed true to their job ended up jobless the next day and were accused of stealing by the mailman. And all, of course, no one heard anything. I think he means no one heard anything from Malik. The guy just disappeared.
It's gone.
And left them jobless with bills that were owed and a very suspicious mailman. That comment deleted. Posted this all on my Instagram, partially in stories and partially as a post. Another comment that came up later, and who knows how many more. What a shame to compare him to a holy man when he put family fathers on the street without caring or uttering a word. He's just a businessman who wants to make some money off your face. Wadabox is turning over in his grave watching this. Comment deleted. Now, I did a little bit of digging, and the first thing that came up was when we do a risk assessment of Wadabox, we do see that it has an open bankruptcy. MoveMax, Malik, saw the post, didn't say anything. Like I said, the comments deleted, not responded to. Now, when somebody says something like that and you delete it, you delete the evidence and don't respond to anything and don't give any sort of substantial comeback, that makes me suspicious. Should it not? Especially when the little henchman who was messaging me, who was one of the people on the podcast, just keeps saying over and over in French that I had to translate, innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty.
Innocent until proven guilty.
I'd like to plead the fifth.
I don't feel like I'm dealing with the potential buyer of CrossFit. I feel like I'm dealing with a low-level criminal organization.
Yeah, right.
I'd honestly be worried about being assassinated if it wasn't for the fact that I don't think they have near as much money as they claim to have. Because I'm never getting assassinated by anything less than an A-tier assassin, and I don't think you can afford that. What in the world does this guy even do? There's like 6 companies and holding companies. Does anybody know who this guy is or what he does?
I know.
The guy loves CrossFit. He's never even done the CrossFit Open from what I can see. He doesn't look like he does CrossFit. And all he talks about is 2-hour workouts. And if I had the choice right now, I would take Will Morad and the WFP over you.
No! No!
It's like we couldn't get Dana White.
He is really good. It's someone who has proven themselves, a company that has proven itself, that succeeded in an acquisition, but succeeded where it's a good sports project.
And then we couldn't get anybody else either. We started with the A tier, and once we went through the D tier, we ended up with the clown show of the WFP and MoveMax. Please tell me that there is somebody else, just like the lack of available options with everything that had happened for the CrossFit Games presented us with D tier Albany, New York. We now have F tier MoveMax as a potential buyer from all I can see. And I'd like to state for the record, this is all completely speculation. Almost none of it is based in fact.
What you just said.
It is all based on feelings, hunches, and happenstance. But I don't think I'm wrong. I mean, didn't the hairs stand up on your neck the first time that you saw MoveMax post when suddenly they had an Instagram 6-7 weeks ago and it was in Comic Sans or something close enough to Comic Sans? And then after that, as I've mentioned, they took a meme of mine that I created custom with AI. You took the meme. I didn't care about it at first. I was like, oh, the guy's buying CrossFit. That's great. They used my meme. But now I actually do care. Give me my meme back. In addition to that, now he's coming out and he's railing on the GOAT. In this podcast, he portrays Rich Froning as an enemy, or a threat, I should say, to CrossFit.
It's clear that he could compete very easily, and Rich can rust the community or kill it if he wants. I think he has that power, and he just needs to be accompanied by 2 or 3 people. If he hires someone from CrossFit, he could really do a lot of damage.
It's very clear that from the beginning, there was some involvement from Rich and from Facundo. I don't know what the involvement was. Rich and Facundo, I'm in. But they weren't seen together at the games. And now he's calling Froning a threat. And now Froning's punching back to his punches on social media.
So today, mayhem is a small structure that can really, really hurt an elephant.
It's very clear that something happened between those two. The dude literally advertised a C-suite position on his Instagram stories from his Instagram that he created 6 weeks ago. Like CEO, CIO, CFO on your Instagram stories in Comic Sans. This guy has more red flags than Toilet Frank.
What's that?
Or is it just me? Or the more that we hear about MoveMax, the more does it seem like a completely different methodology? And how does that work? How does MoveMax, which very clearly is based on long time domains, buy CrossFit, which is CrossFit, without wanting to change CrossFit?
Lose weight. CrossFit does not make you lose weight. In a CrossFit box I'm talking about, you have a 1 hour session. Okay, the time to warm up, the time to explain, the time I don't know what, it's about 30 minutes of workout. How many calories did we burn?
He talks about it in the sense of being able to lose weight, as though moving more for 2 hours or whatever it is that MoveMax does is better to help you lose weight. I feel like he's literally only been doing these 2 hour workouts for the last 6 weeks and coming up with this crap on the fly. His Instagram page looks like it was created by a 13-year-old. Did you forget the base of the pyramid? CrossFit and nutrition, and you lose weight. The most important aspect of losing weight is nutrition. You can't outrun a bad diet. It seems like you're trying to sell something new, and I don't see how it can be perceived any other way, and I don't like it. I lost 75 pounds doing CrossFit. CrossFit is all you need. CrossFit and nutrition. Don't talk about longer time domains.
See that people from the outside, if they take it mathematically with their Whoop, they say, I just did a workout, I burned 300 calories. Whereas if I walk, I will burn 1,000 calories.
What you just said.
You're concerned about people going for a walk and burning 1,000 calories on their Whoop? Where are they walking to? The North Pole?
Except that it's not just about taking what you like in CrossFit and doing it intensely to improve. You have to follow the methodology 100%. We increase 10 physical qualities. You will have to work on all 10.
Okay. MoveMax, you will understand where I'm coming from. At my age, I don't think I'm going to gain muscle.
What you just said.
What on earth are you talking about? They are telling you that you have to be all in to CrossFit, 100%. They talk about the 10 general physical skills, about nutrition, and you tell them that you're 46 years old and you can't build muscle anymore? It's like you actually don't know what CrossFit is.
I realized that speaking for myself with my Whoop and my Garmin, I don't burn this energy compared to what I eat. So I thought there are two possibilities to burn all that because I don't want to lower my lifestyle. I like eating. I am not going to restrict myself. I don't eat junk, but I like to eat. I enjoy having my little beer. What am I going to do? I do a little workout because I need it. And besides that, how can I keep moving? I like walking, I like cycling, I like rowing. So I do a gentle activity, zone 2 or zone 1. And very often my target is between 1,300 and 1,500 calories. When I do my little workout, they'll have my watch. If I do 500 or 600 calories on my workout, I pedal until I reach 1,005. 1,005, I stop. That's it, my philosophy. That's what I'm trying to say. And during the week, in a week, I try to do squats, pull-ups, push-ups with all the variations, and deadlifts. I try to do the 4 movements with the variations every day. That's it, my MoveMax philosophy. That's it.
This is literally not CrossFit. You are actively pushing back against CrossFit methodology. This is like intro to general population fitness stupidity 101. Eat a bunch of pizza and go for a really long run. Spend 3 or 4 hours on a treadmill so you can have a bowl of ice cream. And now you want to go share this amazing knowledge with the world so that you can eat junk food. Again, not CrossFit. And I'm not trying to be mean when I say that it shows. Now, I found this picture from a CrossFit gym in France in September 2020. And you look like you've gained weight since then. I don't know this for sure, but I would argue that the reason why is because you haven't been doing CrossFit. by the way that you're talking about it. You literally say that you basically want to eat like trash, and that is where MoveMax comes from. That is why you spend hours moving. CrossFit is completely appropriate if you're trying to lose weight, but it's more appropriate if you're trying to be healthy. And what you're describing does not sound like it's healthy. It is not the broader message of health that CrossFit teaches, the cure to the world's most vexing problem. Another small weird thing to note is that in this picture on Facebook, it says he's 39 years old, but on the podcast, he says he's 46. Now, if we go back to, it's not September yet this year, so it'd be 4 years ago from his age right now in 2020, he would be 42, but it says 39 years old. Now, I don't know if he lied at some point and told somebody he was younger, or if they messed up his age, or if he's saying he's older now, or what's going on. All I know is it's just all these little red flags sprinkled everywhere. And I just don't trust a word that this guy says. To me, he comes across as one of those people who try to sell you a pyramid scheme like prepaid legal, try to get you to buy a timeshare.
With a pencil.
So when Ruben Valero, one of the people who was on the podcast, who I tagged in this message, asking about why they were deleting comments, he responded to that story. Some translation issues here. Well, I comment, there's a judicial proceeding. In France, there's a thing called interdiction dietane à la presumption d'innocence. Presumption of innocence, the same thing we have here. He says it like 6 times. I said, okay, so what happened? I show him the liquidation thing or the bankruptcy thing. He says liquidation. Why were the comments deleted? Why did Malik buy it and then have to liquidate it within 6 months? And this is where I do think we actually get some answers. Because he bought it to fusion with Fittest Freakus. It's another similar company like clothing and apparel or something like that. The people who sold it to him knowing that he was going to liquidate it. I have an obligation to answer your stupid question, ? And then he starts saying the presumption of innocence thing again and says my memes are crappy. He used a different word. Then why did your boss steal them? Anyway, what does this tell us? Well, it's pretty easy to figure out. When you talk about fathers being left out on the streets without any forewarning, Malik just being gone, I think I've called him Malik a few times, being gone, no warning, just shutting down overnight, essentially. It's very clear what happened. It's the same thing that can happen in the U.S. Somebody buys a company with the intent to liquidate it. Now, whatever reason they buy it, they might buy it because it's got a clothing design that they really like. They don't need the employees. They just need the clothing design. Can definitely be shady, but a somewhat common business practice in a ruthless business environment. It seems to me that what he did was come in and bought this company to merge these two companies. He and the people selling the company to him knew that he was going to liquidate it. The employees did not, and he didn't tell them. And I've seen this done a million times. It was done at a company that I was at. New ownership comes in and talks about how great everything's going to be, and you wake up one day and you don't have a job. They liquidated everything. They gave you no warning because they wanted everything to operate as normal while they worked on their plans behind the scenes. They don't want you stealing stuff from the company. They want you doing your job and bringing in whatever profit you can. And at the very last minute, bam, you're gone. And when it seems like it's his decision and he did it in the worst possible way from what it looks like from these comments, that may be accepted in business. I'm not even sure that Will Morad would do that. And if you're shady, I don't want you anywhere near CrossFit. To the henchman who responded to my stories to badger me, you asked who I was working for, who I was, suggested that I was a nobody who couldn't do anything because I was just a guy with some unfunny memes. Well, who I am is the guy that's making this video right now that's going to get at least 10 times as many views as the video that you put out, which means comparatively, my message is going to be the one that CrossFitters hear, not yours. And also because it's in English. Don't ever forget that CrossFit is our baby, who we protect. Just like if a father has a daughter and a guy starts coming around and there's red flags and he doesn't trust him, he's going to put him through the ringer.
Now I'm going to ask you some questions.
And if he finds out that this guy has nefarious intent, he's going to destroy him. I would rather do thrusters for 5 minutes straight on hot coals with no shoes on than ever do double Chad with shoes on, not on hot coals.